Hi everybody! So it is my first time coming here and making a video, but we'll give it a try and we'll see where we go. So my name is Lali and I am 18 years old. I'm kind of nervous to do this, but I'm excited at the same time. And before I begin, just to make clear, English is not my first language, so do not judge me for my accent or if I say something wrong. But yeah, okay, let's start. So, I'm very social person and I like to interact with people a lot. And I think as everybody else today, I spend a lot of time online and I just scroll down and look those people achieving so much in their lives as they're like 20 or 23, 21, I don't know, 18, 16, 15. It doesn't matter. They are very young, everybody online in the internet, and they're all successful. I mean, from what I see. And it kind of makes me feel like it did actually, not right now, but it was making me feel like, am I missing out or am I like, I don't know, a failure or something like that? It was always going through my mind all the time when I was scrolling down those videos and like watching them get those designer bags and everything. Come here. I'm sorry, it's my dog. But I'm gonna make it clear for you, if anyone here feels the same way as I did. Richie! So if anyone feels the same way as I did, I'm gonna make it clear for you and I'm gonna explain the whole situation that is going around here, and just know that that feeling of feeling like you're missing out something is pretty much normal. Especially if you're, let's say, from 15 to 30 or even more. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I know you might feel like you're somewhere in the back, you don't know what you're doing with your life, but that is the whole point of life. You don't have to know what you're doing. What makes everything more exciting is just something coming to you very naturally, very unexpectedly, and you doing something that is not like written down for you. You just do it because you feel like it in the moment. So don't expect to know everything with your life. Do not expect that. On top of that, what we see on internet, people's lives, people's stories and everything is less than 20% of their actual lives. We get to see like 15 or 10% of their lives and nothing else. And we just want to believe these 15 and 10% and we want to surround our lives around those thoughts that are not even proper to think of. I've felt like that a lot of times, and sometimes there are days that I wake up and I'm like, what the actual fuck am I doing here? Like, what is my purpose? It's my first year in university and I'm not studying on the major that I applied for, sadly, because I couldn't, sadly, but I'm always kind of sometimes like, what am I doing here? What I want, it's not what I want. But to look at it from the other side, I'm like, I'm learning something different from what I wanted, but it's also interesting, pretty interesting, and it's something that will help me to get to the point where I want to be. So if you wake up and feel like, this is not what I want to be doing, I know, but think of the outcomes that it will give you. And if you think and if you see that the outcomes are not the type of ones that you want to achieve, then that is the key and that is the call to actually change what you're doing. But if you see that the outcome and the result is exactly what you are aiming for, but you still feel like you're not in the right place, maybe just give it a bit more time and thought to what you're doing, and then decide if it's right or not for you. I always had this kind of like feeling that, you know what, I've got to be rich, I've got to be famous till I get like 20 or 25, because that's what life is about, right? Because you've got to have money and you've got to be famous. And I don't know, but I always had my thoughts surrounded by that. You've got to be like successful, you've got to wear Prada, you've got to wear any designer clothes and stuff like that. And when I used to see people actually having those lives that I had in my mind, was making me crazy. I was like, she's 16 and I'm 16 too. I was 16, of course, and I'm 16. Like, why don't I get what they have? And that was very wrong and very disrespectful to myself back then. I couldn't realize it because I was too young, but I'm gonna tell you from my experience. I may not have experienced a lot as I am only 18, but what I'm saying, I can assure you that I know exactly what I'm saying. So, yes, we like to post about our designer bags, about our luxury life, or even not our luxury life, but we sometimes want to fake it. That's okay. I also like to do it. Sometimes I also like to show off my things that I get, but you've just got to remember that it's just a piece, and you don't have to surround your whole future, your whole life around this designer bag or clothes or shoes. It doesn't matter. So, as someone who used to go through that stage of feeling left out, feeling like you're missing out, feeling like you're in the back of something in like darkness, and you don't know what to do, you don't know what you want to study, you don't know who you want to be with, what kind of friends do you want to have, who you want to be personally, with your personality, with your feelings, with your emotions, and you don't know that, it is totally okay, because we are not even supposed to know what we want to be. It's very much, even people in their 50s don't know what they want to be. Even also people in their 50s decide that, you know, I've lived this life, but it's not what I want to be, and I'm going to change it now. Today is the day to change it, and it's totally fine. So don't feel scared as I did. I felt very scared and terrified that, you know, I'm not doing what I should be doing, and I'm disappointing my mom, and I'm disappointing my family, my dad, my friends, myself, just because I was not in that exact moment that I kind of had in my thoughts that I was gonna be for this time. Famous designers, like brand designers and even architects or professors and stuff, whoever you want to say, they achieve their life goals in their very late, like 30s, 40s, 50s, even 60s. And for a 15-year-old person to think that you're not doing what you should be doing, or you're not treating yourself right, or you don't know how to treat yourself right, it is okay. So don't feel scared, don't feel terrified. Don't be like, oh, I'm disappointing myself, I'm failing, I'm such a failure. Do not ever tell yourself that, because that's not how you should be treating yourself in the very first place. I mean, if you tell yourself that you're a loser, you're a pathetic loser, you're this, you're that, you don't have this, you don't have that, and you're constantly telling yourself that, just expect that and know that other people may come at you and tell you the same that you just said to yourself. And it's gonna hurt a lot, but just be ready, because you're the first one treating yourself like that. And of course, if you do that to yourself, then you should expect that other people will do it to you. It's pretty normal. So I personally have days where I wake up and I'm like, oh, this is exactly where I want to be. This is exactly what I aimed for, and this is exactly what I want to do right now. And those are the very best days ever of my life. And I think for everyone who feels that way. But the most exciting part is it is not my whole life. It is not every single day of a year that I'm feeling like that. What makes it exciting is that those are very specific days when I feel very special and life makes me feel very special because I'm where I want to be. And don't forget that. I mean, if you every single day, if you wake up and say like, this is what I want to be, this is what I like want to do right now, that's good. Of course, it's good to know every day what you want to do, but it's impossible. It is truly impossible. So what makes it more exciting that you don't know when you're going to wake up, if you're going to feel that way or not. And when you do, it's actually more exciting than feeling that like emotions every single day. I think you get what I am saying. If you are 18-year-old girl or boy just like me, or even younger, or even older, just know that feeling kind of left out and feeling like you're missing out and you don't get what you wanted from life is totally fine. First of all, the first lesson that we should always have in our minds, and we think of it a lot, is to... Oh, I forgot what I was saying. My mother used to always tell me, and she always is telling me, that whatever situation you're going through, whatever position you're in, and you don't enjoy it, you don't like it, you feel like your life is a failure, just remember that no matter what, there is always a way out. Like, always a way out to get through that stage. But there is only one situation which can never be returned, and that is death. You can never come back in life. That is the only moment and only situation that has no coming back. Otherwise, no matter what is happening in your life, just remember that you can fix it. You're capable of doing it because God gives us what we can handle, right? God gives us what we are able to appreciate or to deal with. I mean, as I said before, I am starting on the major that I didn't want it in the first place. And I had in my mind when I was like 15 or I was like 16, I always had a very different thought of what my life was going to be when I was going to turn 18. I thought I was going to have an amazing like friend group and like 5 or 6 people surrounded by me who I would be traveling with around the whole world, whole Europe. And I would be so successful. I would be a straight A student. I'm trying to, of course. But I always thought that, you know, I'm gonna have this model body, model face, and stuff like that. It was beautiful to think that. It was very beautiful in that moment. But when we come to the reality, it's way too different, of course. It's nothing like we kind of like thought and had in our minds, and that's totally fine. It needs more time than what I gave to myself personally. Like 4 years to do all of that was such a small period of time that I gave to myself. And looking right now to my life, I think it's way better than what I thought it was gonna be. I think it's very relaxed and spot on. So if you have thoughts of being fashion model, being something that people spend years of achieving, and you wake up like 2 years later and you're like, oh, I didn't achieve it. I didn't got where I wanted to be. It's totally fine and it's totally okay, sis, because that's what everybody in this whole world goes through. We have expectations with our lives, but when we get there, we might feel like we failed. But no, we just gave ourselves a very little amount of time to achieve what we wanted. So I'm so sorry I had to change the spot because my dog wouldn't stop barking basically, so where I was. So we feel kind of confused about the fact that thinking that our lives would have been way too different from our perspectives like a couple of years earlier didn't came true. And I think that is something that literally every single person has gone through their lives. And the actual answer to that question is that we either gave ourselves a wrong perspective just because we didn't know what our interest would have been for that time, or either we gave ourselves a way too small period of time, short period of time to actually achieve what we wanted. So those are two kind of like possible answers mostly, but sometimes there are some kind of consequences and some kind of side problems that slide into our lives and we cannot walk away and just not care about them. That is also very understandable. But because of that, you should not treat yourself like you're a failure. No, you've come this far. That's already one step forward. I mean, we feel like it's nothing, but every single day, what a human goes through, it doesn't matter how hard that day is. It's still something for someone, of course. And we've got to understand that every single day, when we wake up and we do the whole 24 hours, it's one step forward. And it is very hard for some people to even do that one step forward. You've just got to know that you're not a failure just because you don't have trillions, billions, and millions of dollars in your pocket in this very much moment. It is totally okay. I mean, we're normal people here. We all go through the same kind of stages in life. We can relate to each other, but don't feel like your life is terrible. It's not. No matter what it is, you're in control of changing it. And don't let your mind and anyone else tell you otherwise. Even though I'm saying this right now and telling you and kind of like telling you what to do, I'm not telling you what to do exactly. I'm just giving you my personal experience and thoughts. And if you agree, you just might kind of like take my advice. That's all. I'm not telling you to like do it exactly like that. It's not, of course. Everyone has a different perspective about that, but yeah, I'm just giving you my advice. So don't take it personally, but you might consider it somewhere right, and you might decide to say that, you know, I'm gonna choose that, what you just said, and do it. And I'll be very glad, but don't push yourself too hard into doing it. That's not what I'm here for. I was gonna say something and I forgot. But there is one thing that you gotta also think very wisely about. Just because your life is not your spotlight right now and is not the thing that you wanted to do, it doesn't mean that you should stop trying to get there. I'm not telling you just because you have time to do it and like years to do it, it doesn't mean that you should stop trying in that very much moment. It never means that. You should always try to follow it and never kind of like stay in this one position and repeat it every single day and just not do anything else, because that will never be one step forward for what you dream of. So just because I'm telling you that you might have given yourself a very short period of time to do it and you think you know, I have years to do it, don't think that way. It's very wrong. Don't think that you have time to do something. You never know if you have, but that doesn't mean that you should stop trying for it. And so if you set your boundaries properly about whatever topic whatever topic you're going to choose in your life, and you know both sides, and you know consequences and outcomes and possible let's call it a bit of failures or problems that might slide into your way, then you know pretty much 99% of what you actually are aiming for. Just having the thought that I want to be this and I want to be that is never enough. Never enough. You've got to have a plan to make it possible and actually real. So that's also one more thing about our dreams. If you don't have it planned out, and it's okay not to exactly know what your plan is going to be, but at one point, if you really, really want to make it real, the plan will come to you kind of naturally. So one more time before I finish this video, I want to remind you that whatever you're doing right now, and you might think that it's not what you wanted to do before, you're still doing so much more than you could have imagined actually. You just don't realize it. You just don't realize how much struggle you go through to even pass this one day. We don't understand the whole struggle with one days, with just like a full day and what we're doing throughout the day, because we get used to it, but actually our minds and our whole body goes through very much a lot. We just forget to appreciate that moment. So don't ever feel like you're a failure. You always have time. You just gotta never stop moving forward towards that. That's the only thing that you have to remind yourself to, and then I promise you, you're gonna get what you wanted from life. And also, don't be very harsh to yourself. Kind of be patient with it. And I think God will provide you with what you deserve. That's all. And comment down below if you like this type of videos, because I have a few more topics that I think will be very interesting to you. And I think that will help you to kind of like understand your situations in life. I hope you enjoyed it, because I think I did. And I might continue doing this. So thank you for watching, and I really hope whatever I said makes sense to you. Love you and kisses to you. Bye bye.